Expressing surprise and delight, one might say, "Heavens to Betsy, I'm in hog heaven now." The word heaven is thrown around carelessly throughout life. That is, until we lose a loved one. Serving religion taught me the cathartic effect of the prevailing view of the kingdom of heaven. This is especially so when conducting funerals and while caring for family and friends. The thought of an eternal place, with no more suffering and much wealth, where we join our loved ones again, is a source of great comfort. The kingdom of heaven is therefore an especially delicate subject for the religious. Even so, Jesus saw the kingdom of heaven very differently than we do today. The modern rendition of a magic kingdom with streets of gold did not arrive on the scene until the end of the 1st century, long after Jesus died. Then what about Jesus' kingdom? Where is it? According to an ancient writer, he opened the famous speech known as the Sermon on the Mount with "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." And this same writer depicts in Jesus' diatribe concerning religious leaders, "You shut off the kingdom of heaven from others, for you do not enter in yourselves." We begin with the kingdom of heaven, even though it is the most sensitive subject. However, without an understanding of Jesus' kingdom of heaven, not a supernatural concept at all, we cannot see clearly into the ancient writer's other two primary offerings I call "Woe to You, Religion," and "The Way to Be, Recovering from Too Much Religion." Again, where is this kingdom? Do we go there when we pass away? Is our security found in some wealthy hereafter? Jesus located the kingdom of heaven in a very different place than our religious roots taught us. Yet Jesus' kingdom of heaven is a far superior source of comfort. The two words, kingdom and heaven, were simply used by Jesus to form a figure of speech, kingdom of heaven. The root for heaven in ancient Greek refers to sky or air, like the heavens above us. Jesus' target audiences were familiar with ancient Hebrew religious writings. For them, God in heaven and God of heaven were common phrases. The Hebrew word for heaven also means sky or air. This same precept was used in a metaphorical sense to refer to where God dwells and the great unknown reaches of up above, God Most High. For Jesus' listeners, God was somewhere beyond the clouds or stars, in the heavens, in a heavenly place, up in heaven. Jesus' society used the word heaven or heavens to refer to the vast expanse of sky or air, and as a metaphor for the vastness of the not fully understood, like where God is. Likewise, the adjective heavenly appears to be a descriptive word for that which is ethereal and vastly good, primarily Heavenly Father, but also heavenly host and heavenly things. Just as we have many uses for the same word, ancient journalists also used the word heaven without kingdom to communicate many different meanings. For instance, glorify God who is in heaven refers to the unknown place where his listeners believe God dwells. Where Jesus said, "Lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven," he was likely speaking to his figure of speech, kingdom of heaven. In a similar way, "Heaven and earth will pass away" refers to the earth and sky. The other half of Jesus' figure of speech is kingdom. Society's idea of kingdom was steeped in history. Jesus' primary listeners shared a violent heritage. They understood kingdom, even hoped for a stable one of their own. Their kingdom had been destroyed many times. They told stories of ancestors who lived as slaves after being defeated by other kingdoms. They dreamed of an earthly kingdom, one that would never again be destroyed. Jesus' listeners were waiting on a deliverer who would eventually help them reverse their traditional roles as oppressed people. They dreamed of swapping places with their abusers. They would be rich on earth. Their enemies would become slaves and later experience a place called Sheol, on a bed of maggots covered by a blanket of worms. As with the word heaven, when Jesus used kingdom without heaven, there were many different uses. He may have been referring to his figure of speech, kingdom of heaven, or to any kingdom, or perhaps to the wealthy kingdom for which his listeners hoped. When Jesus spoke of the gospel of the kingdom, he was speaking of his figure of speech. When he said a kingdom is divided against itself, he was referring metaphorically to any and every kingdom. Again, when Jesus put these two words together, they formed his figure of speech, kingdom of heaven. He utilized this figure of speech to address the ongoing discontent among his listeners. He simply used terminology familiar to them. This figure of speech helped his listeners solve their discontent by locating their kingdom in a place they had not yet considered, within themselves. People of the way, as they were called in Jesus' day, were building their character and integrity. When and where is this kingdom of heaven? It is always now, and it's inside you. It's the natural way of being that makes one content. There is nothing supernatural about it. There is no religion to do, no magic kingdom to go to. Instead, the kingdom of heaven is a way to be. So if I repeat Jesus' parables concerning the kingdom of heaven as quickly as possible, they might sound like this. The kingdom of heaven is the good seed that gets corrupted. The kingdom of heaven is the mustard seed that grows to benefit others. The kingdom of heaven is the leaven inside that infects one's whole being. The kingdom of heaven is the treasure and the fine pearl that is more valuable than everything else. The kingdom of heaven is the dragnet in which some are kept and some are not. The kingdom of heaven is forgiving the accounts of others. The kingdom of heaven is one who comes early or late and still benefits the same. The kingdom of heaven is an invitation some reject, but others, of all kinds, accept. The kingdom of heaven prepares one for the day one's visceral response is required of them. And the kingdom of heaven is of varying value to each person, something one either uses or loses. I would ask the theist to consider that every supernatural aspect of Jesus was embellishment by ancient writers, over-eager to build a religion long after Jesus died. I would ask the atheist, then, why his following grew even before he died, as they became known as people of the way. Could it be the kingdom of heaven is always at hand, even today? Could it be that both atheist and theist alike would be more content if they had this way about them? Depending on your answers, you might just wind up saying, "Heavens to Betsy, I'm in hog heaven now."